Hi everybody, this is Diana in LA and Cary in the UK, and we're here to talk about this week's stars. Welcome to our weekly reading where we explore all things astrological. From our two different points of view in two different locations in the world, we bring to you a unique astrological perspective on what is happening right now across the globe. So here we go. We start off with the boom this week, the beautiful alignment of Jupiter moving into Pisces that just happened on Thursday. And this is a big, long aspect that goes all the way till December 2022. Jupiter in Pisces is ruled by that sign. It is in its benevolence. It's in its biggest mind. It is the perfect time for diplomacy and to work things out between nations. We're talking big wheels turning when Jupiter makes a movement. It's been in stiff, hard structural signs for a couple of cycles now, and now finally it opens up. And so we might have a whole new ball game in this next year and a half or so as Jupiter moves through Pisces at retrograde, so it's a little bit longer than normal. Normally, Jupiter moves about one sign every year, but this one's going to be about a year and a half because of the retrograde motion. So this will be a powerful time where we can do some reconciliation and what is right action in our world. It's a good question, and that's where we start this week because it just occurred. It's a very long trend, and we're all going to be affected by it. Another thing I just want to mention is that Mercury is going to go retrograde in about 2 weeks. That will be actually Saturday the 29th. So get your affairs in order, your mercurial affairs in order. You know, make all your lists, get things done. It's not that you can't take action on Mercury retrograde or buy a car or travel or things like that, but there can be problems or setbacks or things that you don't expect. So if you get your affairs in order, you know, do all your business, make all your transactions during that period, then you can use the Mercury retrograde period as a time to study, go back, review, edit, all those kinds of things during that 3-week period. So between now and then, you've got time to kind of work out things. And I like this get your affairs in order because it's a little cleanse in a way during whenever there's a Mercury retrograde. There's a lot more going on. Cary, what's going on your side of the world?
Well, it's going to be a big whoosh for this week because there's a lot of activity in air. You've mentioned Mercury, which is at the moment in Gemini, and on Saturday there's a grand trine which takes place in Saturday the 22nd. There's a grand trine between the Moon, Saturn and Venus, all in air. So there's a huge emphasis on air this week, which is a really good thing. The Sun also moves from Taurus into air, so we've got a stellium, not a strong stellium at the moment, but the start of a stellium in Gemini. So we've had our stellium in Taurus, which was very fixed with the Uranus influence, and now we've got this air stellium, which is going to have quite an effect on the world because it's going to create a very favourable aspects to Saturn, which is excellent because at the moment Saturn is challenged by Uranus. So all that activity in air is going to lighten the square of Saturn to Uranus at this moment. So it's good.
Right, and there's also, in contrast to that, on Saturday with that beautiful grand trine in air signs, which is higher solutions and talking about things and working things out because it's all air signs. Venus is in Gemini, Saturn's in Aquarius, Moon's in Libra. These are negotiating kinds of signs and aspects. But on Tuesday, which precedes that, this coming Tuesday, we've got a great big T-square between Moon and Saturn and Uranus. So here we go. There could be another kaboom somewhere as the world is going to be looking out at some tension that has been mounting. But what is hopeful about this is by next Saturday, there may be some resolution, hopefully. The other big thing that you mentioned, Cary, is that Sun changing signs into Gemini from Taurus, plodding along step by step. Now we're going to go zing, we're going to go out and things are going to start moving again. And aren't things just doing that? Aren't things starting to move again? That movement happens on Friday. You'll feel it. It's as if the conveyor belt starts moving again.
That's right. And having Mercury in Gemini, which is its own sign, it bodes really well. Actually, if I was to describe this oncoming week, I'd call it the week of the big whoosh, because that's how it's going to feel. Big whoosh of air, And the T-square with the Moon, Saturn and Uranus on Tuesday, that will be quite interesting. And look for the news to see what happens on the combative front, because that is quite a T-square. So if you've got a prominent planet in Taurus or Aquarius or Leo or Scorpio, you're going to feel that. It's going to be one of those days where it'd be like a clap of thunder just on that day.
Right. When the moon acts like a trigger, you see, the moon is going around the chart very quickly. Every 28 days, it makes a full, complete cycle. So when you're doing day-to-day predictive astrology, you can see the moon is going click, 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 click through 360 degrees, and it's triggering off aspects, creating completions to a trine, making it into a grand trine, or to a square, making it into a T-square. And that's what's happening on Tuesday, the moon being in Leo.
Right. So the moon in Leo on Tuesday is opposite Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn is squaring Uranus, so it forms that triangle, which is the T-square. So anybody or any country that's got a major planet at those degrees are going to feel that quite considerably.
Tuesday, we have this fixed sign T-square. Wednesday, we have this gorgeous aspect of Venus trine Saturn. I have a feeling that what's going to be happening around the world is because of the tensions that are increasing in various places, and we can think of Israel and Palestine as an example of that, but there's other examples as well, where there's mounting tensions. As people have been cooped up for a year and starting to come out, various things are happening. In America too, there's a lot more tension in our Congress and in our Senate and amongst people of the old argument that has been going since the last election to this election. It feels like it's been a little bit reignited, and this T-square could increase that tension. But on Wednesday, we have Venus trining Saturn, which is really a beautiful aspect of understanding. And it might be, have you noticed, that sometimes things need to get worse to get better? That we're in a place right now where these things are starting to come up across the world. And because of the problems that have been happening, like our own cyber attack just this week, of the pipeline that runs from the south to the north in America, and there was a buying spree of gasoline, and people were hoarding gasoline, and they were running out of gasoline. These tensions, they're like creating these hot spots, right? But to me, they become like thumbnails on a map that say, let's look at this subject, let's look at this subject, we need to look at this subject, infrastructure, protection of cyberspace. That's a whole new world. Bitcoin, all these things that are happening, structures, even our very dollar in America is being questioned and challenged by cyber money. It's a very interesting time. And it's good to think of these tensions as points of conversation, things we need to look at again and to create new solutions with. But in order for us to do that, we sort of need to see, oh yeah, that's really a problem. How do we solve that? Different countries are coming up with different solutions. The United States is too, in our ways. We are having the COVID vaccine, etc. In Australia, there's much better taking care of, say, the metro rails and the way transport works in that country, and education, really sophisticated. If we started to exchange information and use each other's bests, we'd start to, as a world, potentially be a better place.
So as we near the end of the week, come to the end of the week, it's going to actually be very nice with the Sun moving into Gemini. We've got a grand trine between the Moon, Saturn and Venus on Saturday. We've got Mars trining Neptune and Venus trining Saturn. So if we focus on all the positive aspects that are happening on Saturday, the week finishes full of trines.
Ending on a week of trines. So we wish you a wonderful week. We hope that if you're enjoying these, that you like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell where you'll be notified when our new Astrocast comes out. Meanwhile, we love to hear your comments, and we'll see you next week with another Astrocast.
Take care, everybody, and enjoy the week of the big whoosh.